Hello and welcome. Today we are going over the Garage RCR CIVIC and it's kind of a letdown. So before I start digging in real life this car is probably fantastic, amazing to drive, the perfect power to weight ratio and just amazing around corners. However, we are worried about how it performs in Gran Turismo 7. So if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, don't forget leave a like and subscribe. So for 300,000 credits you pick up this Civic, and now this Civic produces 389 brake horsepower, comes in a weight of only 1014 kgs and has a fantastic rocket bunny wide body. So all of that sounds really good. That is up until you really jump behind the wheel of it, just get an overall feel for it. So around Kyoto driving park, well, 390 brake horsepower going to front wheels is a bit much if I'm going to be honest with you. So this led to a ton of understeer going into corners, and with it having 389 brake horsepower, you aren't really setting new land speed records. Down Kyoto driving park straight away you see yourself traveling about 230 kilometers per hour before you need to slam on the brakes. Now you see, this is a bit of the issue with having high horsepower in a front wheel drive car, because you either have tons of power, which means you go super fast in the straight, or you have a little bit less power and that means you can actually go around corners. So it's a bit of a give or take situation, and that's exactly the situation with the Honda. So with the Civic, yeah, sorry, I shouldn't say Honda, with the RCR Civic, when it comes to cornering, just a bit of advice or a tip that I picked up on: you can hold full throttle, but just keep adjusting the brake, keep putting your brake on, and they'll just help adjust the front end. And what I also noticed was the suspension setup with the vehicle standard is extremely stiff, and it's not really, how do I say, the best suited for a lot of circuits. Now look, I understand, yes, it's supposed to be a full-on time attack vehicle, the suspension is gonna be a bit stiff. So I just kept that in mind, dealt with it, moved on. So the vehicle overall, when it comes to handling, it's not the best. When it comes to acceleration, top speed, it's also not the best. Now for 300,000 credits, if we look at the other already performance tuned vehicles in Gran Turismo 7, we see some of those cars have just over 1000 kgs and over 1000 brake horsepower. Some of the tuned cars in Gran Turismo 7 are absolutely mental. So I came in with this expectation for this Honda Civic. I knew it was going to be so much fun and just an absolute blast to drive. Now look, it is fun, but I just thought it would be a lot better, and that's something that Gran Turismo has taught me. Don't set your expectations extremely high because you will be disappointed. Now that comes along with its updates, with the cars being added, so that's just something, and I fell victim to that with this Honda Civic. Now let's see if we can actually change this around. If we head on over to the tuning shop now, then we should be able to bump up the performance or just make it better. However, this is where another big issue I have with the Civic comes in. So I understand it's a fully upgraded time attack vehicle, so I expected some features to be, or some upgrades to be, not applicable. However, I was quite blown away with how little we could actually put on. So firstly, we can slap on an anti-lag system, exhaust, coilovers, a gearbox, tires, and just I think 2 other things, and that's about it. Performance, you're gonna see your performance now be bumped up to 600 brake horsepower, 599, but we're just gonna round up 600 brake horsepower, and it was already struggling with going around corners. So slapping on more power, we aren't able to adjust the weight. So I mean, the vehicle is already extremely lightweight, so it's not really a concern. Now if you head on over to GT Auto, this is where something comes into play. So you have two options for the front splitter, two options for side skirts, two options for the rear, and then you have three options for the rear wing. Now you have a wingless option, and type A and type B. Type B allows you to add downforce to the vehicle, which is a massive plus. However, I haven't found a front splitter that allows you to adjust the front downforce on the vehicle. Then if we head on over to the tuning sheet, something I found extremely strange was the fact that we aren't allowed to adjust the anti-roll bars. They are set to 1, and why is this? I have no idea. Honestly, why is it locked? That's something I don't like when it comes to certain vehicles in this game. If I'm purchasing the upgrade part for it, let me adjust it. Sometimes the way the game has a car set up isn't the way I would have it set up, and just give me free reign. Let me experience the vehicle the way I want to set it up and have the best performance for myself. Whereas if you lock in some abilities away, it kind of dampens the whole mood and how I'm going to experience the vehicle, so I kind of have to work around it. But it's not a train smash, it's not the end of the world. Now with the car being fully upgraded, it really turned a new leaf. This car now, with it having 600 horsepower, you would think it would be terrible. However, that's not the case. The vehicle, yes, when it comes to cornering, it has improved a lot over the standard version, especially with the rear wing, with you having the ability to change over and adjust it to 400 downforce. It just makes the vehicle feel a lot more planted. Now, when it comes to riding curbs, it is a bit sketchy because the way I have the suspension set up is rather stiff, and you can really tell they're going over curbs. But when it comes to long sweeping high-end turns, well, the Honda Civic is actually really good. Well, the RCR Civic is actually quite good. Now, since acceleration and braking has improved, well, it just completely changed the vehicle's handling. Now the car is a lot more responsive. It listens to what you want to say and it does as you say. Now the thing is, with the roll bars being set to 1, you will see the car tend to pop a wheel off the ground every now and then, like a true classic hot hatch vehicle, which in my opinion is quite fun. However, there is a time and a place for it, and when you want to set really fast lap times, this wheel that doesn't want to be on the ground really doesn't help out. So overall, the vehicle is quite fun. When it comes to using this vehicle in events, this is where it gets a bit tricky. I can see this vehicle be used in a handful of events, but when it comes to the important ones, the ones that earn you a lot of money, well, that's the issue. I don't really see it being the best or the most efficient option. The vehicle fully maxed out, max downforce, racing soft tires is just over 700 performance points. So by just simply slapping on racing mediums, you come under that 700 performance points mark. And when you are doing the WTC 700 around Le Mans, well, this vehicle, you're only able to get about 2 laps of fuel out of it. And considering the fact that you're setting lap times around the 4-minute 10-second mark is a bit of an issue. If the vehicle's only able to do about 2 laps before refueling, it really needs to be setting blistering fast lap times to get a large enough lead over the opponents, to a point where every time you go in, by the time you come out, you should still be covered, or at least be fast enough to catch up and re-overtake the opponents. However, with the RCR Civic, that's not the case. The vehicle setting lap times more than 4 minutes is rather slow. So the Honda RCR Civic, it is an absolute blast. It can be a lot of fun, and depending on the way you set it up, it really depends on whether or not you're gonna like this vehicle. So for 300,000, would I say it's worth it? Look, if you're a Honda fanboy, absolutely yes. If you start comparing it to other professionally tuned vehicles, well then it's not. It isn't. So The Honda this RCR Civic, a lot of fun for a specific person. When I first drove the car both stock and fully upgraded, I wasn't really happy with it. But the longer I drove it over the next couple of days, I really began to enjoy it. And it just changed my opinion. So at first I wasn't really a fan of it, but now I can really appreciate for the purity of it. It's such a good driving, it's a solid driving experience. Yes, it's not the fastest thing out there, but it's still gonna give you a fun ride. So with all of that being said, hope you guys go on to enjoy this video. Don't forget, leave a like and subscribe for more Gran Turismo 7 content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.